Hi everyone. In this video I would like to show you how to create a client-side script. So I'm going to just start by showing the course where we can find this in Developer ServiceNow. So if you are in the website, you have already logged in, you can click on training and you have scripting in ServiceNow, and you have the course here, the first introduction to scripting ServiceNow, and then client-side scripting. I'm gonna just reduce a little bit the music, and yeah, so we get back to the course, and we have here the client-side scripting course where we can create our client-side script. So the first these things like introduction to scripting, objectives, and all these 5 headlines I summarize in sort of images, so we can understand what the script can do for us. So I'm gonna open that and go through that explanation first. So scripting in ServiceNow. ServiceNow have these APIs: REST, client side, and server side. I will tell you why I included client side and server side into the APIs a bit later. So what we can do with the scripting in ServiceNow. So you can actually prompt some messages, alert, confirmation, or any other messages into your browser when you are doing some action. You can do data validation. For example, you are completing a form and your data, what you put in that field, is not correct, and the script can check the data. And you can actually also interact with third-party application like YouTube, Instagram, or other APIs. And so it's done by integrating the REST API into ServiceNow. Or you can also interact with the database. You can query, update, create, delete. You can launch a workflow. A workflow is basically has a trigger and a set of actions. For example, you create a record, and the record, for example, is created by someone, and if that person is created, and if that person set a field to, I don't know, awaiting for approval, and let's say these are the condition which triggers a set of action after, which is like assigning to someone. So that thing can be launched by the script. Also do some launch some job, schedule job. So what is a job? If you are familiar with the performance analytics, a job is a data collector who is going to collect all the data in order to display in your analytics hub how the result is going on. For example, the evolution of your incidents per month over the last year. So this kind of thing. So we can use scripting to do like all these different action. So that is the first thing, and I would like to now explain why I included into ServiceNow's API, why I have client side and server side. So client side, when we talk about client side scripting, we are writing a script. For example, I'm in the browser here. I'm in the in the Need IT application. I clicked on I open for example this one. I open this record, and we can interact with this form. We can choose human resources, we can choose legal, or we can change the state to approved, or this. So those kind of interaction, when you're interacting with the form, you can actually write a script depending on the action you do, return you some sort of result. It's basically like when you're completing a form and you forgot to check the agreed button, for example, and it's going to prompt you a message by saying, hey, you forgot to check that box. So that's the client side scripting. So the program what we're going to use is JavaScript, and the JavaScript is only read by the browser, so that's why we call client. So we call it server side scripting when the same JavaScript is running, is going to query a database or ServiceNow server. So that's where we have to make the difference. And why I included in the image into APIs, because if I go back to the course, and when you're reading through the course, you have one thing called the glide form. I don't know if I'm pronouncing correctly. The glide form is a client-side API which provides some methods. So that methods will allow us to do some action. So if we take this example of methods, we can, for example, show some information which is in our form. For example, this need conference room setup for meeting, we can show that information using that the method of the glide form client-side API. So the method is here. For example, alert the message. So this is the method, gform method name, gform dot get value, and short description. So this is a piece of code provided by glide form API. So that's why I included in this Power ServiceNow's API the client side. So we can do as well the same thing into the service side. Now we are going to directly create a client script, the exercise which I have here. So we are not going to write all this code, but the code is already ready, but I'm going to explain you what it's going to do, and how we gonna write this, where we gonna write this, all this information. So the first thing is I'm going to show you what result is expected. So I'm going to put it on as previously. So I'm in the record, this one in I0022, and the request type, I have 3 different choices: human resources, facilities, and legal. And if I click on what needed, I have 7 different choices. So for me, it's unnecessary if I choose legal to have all the choices available. I only need, if I have the request type legal, I don't need human resources 2, facilities 1, facilities 2, or I just need legal 1, legal 2, and other. So that's the script is going to do. We're gonna, with the script is ready, we're gonna use that script in order to have this result. So let's get started. So let's open our studio. So I'm going to choose the Need IT application. I think the music is still high. So I open my ServiceNow studio, the application Need IT. Now here I'm going to create an application file, which is, I'm going to type client. It's a client script. In the client development, I click on create, and I'm just going to follow through the exercise. So I have done all of this by showing you, and now I'm in this point. I'm creating, I selected client script, I clicked on create. So I have to just put the name, sorry, we are here, this one, okay, up. So I want this. Okay, finally. So I'm gonna take the table. The table is Need IT table, and it's going to show for all, not only for desktop, and it's going to be on change, because we are going to change here. Each time we change from human resources to facilities or to legal, we have to have a certain result here. That's our thing. And request is, the field name is going to be request type here. So here, so description, I'm gonna only display value, only display what needed choice that match the request type value up. That's our description. So we have already the code by default, but we are not going to use that, but it's empty. So I'm going to just replace that. I'm just copying. It's unfortunate we don't have the copy. So button, so I'm going to put here this one. Great, so it's active, so the box is checked. I'm gonna click on submit. It's going to create an application file here, and client development, client script, need IT request type option. So the name is the name I gave here. Great. So now I'm going back to the application. I'm gonna Discord, and let's type again need IT. I click on all. I click on this record. Basically now if I choose human resources, it should be only show me human resources to other. As you can see here, I have only three options, three choices, and not the whole list. So if I change here to facilities, I should have the same. If I change here to legal, I should have changed. So we have to make sure here this box is checked. If I uncheck and I update it and I go back to all, so I'm gonna refresh, I open the same application, it's not going to work. So I'm going to show, as you can see here, I have all the result, all the choices. So we have to make sure that this one is ticked. I updating now, it's done. And now if I refresh the page, if I choose human resources, I have only three choices. So that's what we can do with the client side scripting. It's a basic script. I would analyze for the next video how this script works, what are the different things, so to understand better what is actually going on, not just copy pasting a script, but actually going what. So this is only, it should be a basic one. I think it should be easy to understand this one. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and have a nice day. Bye.